morning once again, children. The end of term is fast approaching, for this is a British academy and we don't deal in such silly things as semesters. But there is still plenty of time for grades to be improved. 16 players have once again stepped up, competing to be head of the class and to be the apple in the eye of your illustrious demon headcaster, Sottle. So please, once again, put away your phones and take out your textbooks, unless of course you're watching this on a phone. In which case, probably keep your phone out. This is Lobby Legends Graded. We begin with Japanese Hearthstone legend turned big name Battlegrounds streamer Matsuri, who is taking another run at Lobby Legends glory. We join Matsuri in Game 3 of his Day 1 lobby. After the first 2 games, he is languishing in F territory as he sits in 8th place, a full 4.5 points off the needed qualifying position of 4th. Being this far off, Matsuri needs to play for the win, and so goes for a very aggressive 3-on-3 leveling curve. However, when faced with his quest choice, many people, Lorinda included, expected him to take Ghastly Mask, the greediest quest available, as this game was basically first or bust. Matsuri instead sticks with the easiest to complete quest, Parasol in this case, and I really like this line of thinking from Matsuri. A greedy quest with a way too high requirement doesn't suddenly become good just because you need to win. He's already taken an aggressive curve in this position, so using a tempo quest to stabilize makes a lot of sense, even despite the counter synergy it has with his Illidan hero power. This ends up working out perfectly for Matsuri, as with the lobby makeup being as it is, he correctly predicts that most players will be aiming for either mech or beast-based Baron compositions with stolen gold or elsewise. Illidan is excellent at picking apart these strategies, as with a Wind Fury cleave up front, you can quickly massacre their entire board before the Baron effect really has a chance to take hold or multiply in the case of frogs. Matsuri knew he didn't need too much extra help in this game and just played aggressively for tempo to win the game by killing other players quickly, securing his spot on Sunday in a very impressive game. And so Matsuri progresses through to Day 2. Very early on, he's presented with an interesting set of dilemmas on Hook Tusk. While most of this game consists of Matsuri hitting the absolute nuts and just snowballing to the win, this one crucial decision does set it all in motion. Choosing to triple the Shell Collector and hold it in hand achieves 2 things. Firstly, the ability to take a higher value triple by leveling up first, but secondly, and perhaps more importantly, holding free procs in your hand for multiple different quests, such as play Naga or add X cards to your hand. Something he eventually gets rewarded for enormously. Without this crucial decision, the snowball effect starts a whole turn later and picks up a whole lot less snow or something. I'm going to be honest, I got lost in that analogy very quickly. Regardless, Matsuri's giant snowball quickly runs over the lobby as he deals maximum damage in almost every fight throughout the entire game, quickly taking down the W.
With the, I think it was the turn 4 completion of the sticker stack with the golden battle cry. It's just
call that a cleave? This is a cleave.
This cleave would need to hit like 6 times in order to even come close to killing. 42 damage.
And so finally, a game that could have spelled Matsuri's ultimate downfall. Having at one point up to 5 Nomis at his disposal, Matsuri makes the conventional play of staying on 4 and just rolling down elementals. Old school wisdom tells you that leveling to 5 with Nomi is a waste because it introduces so many more unwanted minions to the pool and doesn't even increase your shop size. However, in the current meta, I'm a big believer in the power of Leroy and Mantid Queen to supplement your comp, and without them, you can even lose late game battles to Poison Murlocs, Malgams, or other Mantid heavy comps, even with 200 elementals. This ends up happening in this game with Sleepy, who played this game from behind with just a single Nomi, but leveled to 6 and got hold of Mantids and full poison. Matsuri had the lobby in check this game, so big decisions being the difference between top 4 and a win are huge here. Special shout out to Sleepy this game as well, who's not being featured in the episode but played an amazing game. Starting out with Mama Bear Khadgar Beasts and then transitioning through Nomi Elementals, eventually to Hybrid Poison, was beautifully executed. There was a wonderful balancing act behind the whole game, and I just wanted to shout it out as one of my favorite games of the tournament. So, a final verdict for Matsuri. Clutch decision making on Day 1 snuck him into the finals. He played to his outs very well and hit them through most of the tournament, but perhaps cost himself a victory through some timid decision-making. I give it a B-. We don't always feature the eventual winner here on Graded because they usually get their fair share of attention on the main broadcast, but in the case of Say, who put up a record-breaking performance in terms of total points and had some fantastic games in terms of decision-making, I really have no choice. Day number 1, game number 3. Say is on Flurgle and finds himself in a spot where he thinks he has the turn pretty much wrapped up with 70 seconds left on the turn timer. However, hitting 2 additional Primal Fin lookouts from the Flurgle hero power and the subsequent Tad, he ends up having to cram many more actions than expected into the last 30 seconds. Quick thinking and fast decision making take over, and he finds a very happy middle ground, selling out of a potential brand triple to pick up a few more buffs, but stopping short of selling out of his last brand to grab a final Primal Fin in shop. This balance proves perfect as he narrowly survives the fight with a tie, when being even slightly weaker would have resulted in a disaster at 12 HP. Promising early signs from our eventual winner. We accelerate to day 2 and join Say on turn 11 of a particular game with a nice looking setup, but also a conspicuous golden hogger hanging out. He finds the 4th hogger on a final roll, but due to our frankly amateurish observer, TJ Sanders, it's not 100% clear whether or not it's frozen in the final seconds. Some Murloc Holmes style sleuthing does find a 4th hogger in his hand a couple of turns later, but its position is inconsistent with buying the one shown here. Detective work aside, in my opinion, the 4th hogger is the number one thing that Say wanted this game. Despite not being pirates, not having any intention of being pirates, infinite gold is still infinite gold, and you can theoretically use infinite gold to buy any perfect composition you want. In this case, Say uses abundant gold to get hold of multiple perfect poison divine shield amalgams, hoarding Toxfins, modules, and menaces until he can find a willing recipient. The execution on this turn was flawless, and the only debate in my mind is the unsolvable mystery of whether the turn 11 hogger was frozen or not. Say even manages to round things off perfectly with a last-minute zap tech to shut down Matsuri's attempted Leroy counterplay. This was, as they say, a game from our champion. And finally, digging high and low for a point of criticism, this is the best I've got, and it's not even particularly strong. Locked in a late game Poison Divine Shield battle with Rimgosu, Say picks up a Tunnel Blaster, and I don't really know why. It doesn't seem to achieve anything in the fight he's facing, and in my opinion probably cost him odds in the fight overall, so whether it was just an attempted gimmick in a fight he knew he lost otherwise, or whether it was a plan gone wrong, or just actually a mistake, it's hard to know. Regardless, at the risk of making Say out to be far too much of a teacher's pet, this is the closest I have to serious criticism of his play, unless he skipped that hogger, but we'll never know. And so to grade our champion. Say accumulated a record points total. He won 3 different games on the final day. But I really just want to know whether or not he skipped that hogger. Regardless, it's an A+, the first one ever. And so the bell chimes, signaling the end of another school day. What did you think of my grades? Did Say deserve the A+? Can you solve the mystery of Schrodinger's hogger? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget, of course, to subscribe to Hearthstone Esports on all relevant channels to make sure you don't miss any of the competitive action remaining in the year. Thanks everyone, this has been Graded. Take care.